practices for scary times. And these scary times can be different kinds of challenges in our life. Could be a diagnosis with a terminal disease. It could be the end of a marriage, a divorce. It could be political instability and danger, and could be financial problems. So, for each of you, I invite you today to work with what's most present in your heart, mind, whole body, and spirit as a big challenge, as a maybe scary time for you in your life. And then we're going to do some practices that help us to come back into the present moment, witness what's going on, because usually we tend, when there are these big challenges, we tend to either try to repress them, get ourselves busy or whatever, so that we don't think about it because it's just so overwhelming. Or instead of repressing and ignoring, we allow the negative emotions and feelings that accompany this sense of danger and threat to overwhelm us. And we go into states of anxiety and what's called fight flight, this wanting to fly away from what is so unbearable, but not knowing where to fly, or fight and not knowing how to overcome the problem. So that also brings us sometimes to a sense of shutdown, and then going into immobilization. And we move through these different states, autonomic states of the autonomic nervous system that happen automatically. That's what autonomic means. And we don't know where to get a handle to be able to overcome it. So the practices that we are going to be practicing together today are similar to the ones that I teach in my course, Embodying Safety, Integrating Yoga, Qigong, and Polyvagal Theory. And it's a combination of ancient wisdom, healing tradition practices, and our understanding of the nervous system through polyvagal theory and through neuroscience, of which polyvagal theory is part of. So what we know from neuroscience is that when we get into these states of anxiety, fear, numbness, the amygdala, a small part of our brain that's very much connected to our emotions, takes over and kidnaps our prefrontal cortex, which is the one that allows us more to come up with insights and understandings to see how to keep working with what confronts us, instead of being overwhelmed or totally restless. So how can we work with these autonomic physiological responses? And we need to work with the body, because we can understand, oh, I have to calm down. I should calm down. I want to be more effective with how to face this cancer or this danger. So we understand it cognitively, but the body doesn't respond to just understandings from the brain or from cognitive. So what we need to do is calm the body so that we can calm the mind. And what we learned through polyvagal theory and our studies on the vagus nerve is that the vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve that we have, that starts back here at the brain stem, and it goes to the sides here, and then it comes through the very center here. And it goes all the way to the area of the abdomen, and even has some ramifications further down. That the vagus nerve which is part of the parasympathetic nervous system. So within the autonomic nervous system, we have the sympathetic nervous system that gives us energy to move, to dance, to run, and also when it's overwhelmed, when it's too much activated, give us a restlessness. And then we have the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and repair. So the vagus nerve is part of the rest and repair, and it's very much influences our whole mood because it also influences all these different vital organs like the heart and the lungs in its path. And it's connecting all these visceral input, how are we sensing, how are we feeling this anxiety or numbness. It brings that information up to the brain, and then the brain sends more of the same. So 80% of our mood, of our internal state, is composed of the sensations that the vagus nerve collects from the viscera and sends to the brain. And then only 20% is really what the brain sends down as a response. The brain is like a mirror that's going to send more of the same. Whether we are perhaps fearful about something that shouldn't be fearful. If we are fearful, it will send more adrenaline, kicking in with the adrenal glands near the kidneys, and then the whole cycle stays of restlessness and all that. So how do we talk to our vagus nerve? How do we talk to our viscera so we calm our body, and then the vagus nerve transmit a moment of peace to the brain, and the brain goes, oh, you are not running away. You don't seem to be all stressed. So let me send you more serotonin, dopamine. Remember, it's a mirror. So it's so important for us to have these practices to come back to calmness, even when there is real danger, even when we have this terminal cancer or this situation that's troubling us. So again, I invite you to work with what's troubling you today, and let's do the practices to calm the body and the mind. So the first one is going to be working with touch and breath and attention and intention, and is what I call integrative breath. And because it has a breath, but it's also working with our subtle body, the body of the energy of our thoughts and emotions, and with touch, which is a language that the body really understands breath, understands touch. So we have within ourselves these tools to calm down, even when facing really dangerous moments in our life. So let's go there first. Let me see how I can do this. Okay. So we have the breastbone here. And let's touch it. And the breastbone is the ribs are attached to the breastbone. If you come to your last rib, and then you follow your last rib, one way of coming back to the body is, of course, touching it. So if we are only understanding, oh, yeah, it's the last rib, and maybe writing down, you will not have the experience. So follow the experience with me. Find your last rib. Okay, and then follow it to the center, and it will connect with the breastbone, where the breastbone finishes. And 4-finger breath up from the end of your breastbone. As you press in a little bit, you'll find an indentation. That indentation is called Sea of Tranquility. I love the names that the Chinese healing tradition has given to these very important release points and centers of energy. So the Sea of Tranquility is a release point. We are going to be using our hands to cover that area of the Sea of Tranquility point. And also here is our lung and our lungs, 2 bags here like this, and our heart. And through the very center of all this is passing the vagus nerve. So once we calm our lungs and heart. The vagus nerve also transmits this calmness to the other viscera and to the brain. And the brain will send us more calmness. And all that will free our prefrontal cortex and our spirit to somehow learn from this danger and see what is it we can do within our possibilities to face and overcome the problem. Sometimes, like we said, terminal cancer, there is a period of time before the end, and we want to be as clear and peaceful to make the most of our days. In other situations, we can, in a divorce or in a political instability, we can use this painful experiences to keep learning. How do we want to relate? How do we want and can relate and consciously build better communities, consciously build better relationships, personal relationships, and also the relation with ourselves, which is fundamental for all the rest. Okay, so coming back to the practice itself, we are going to rub our hands. Here also there are important points and centers of energy. Our hands are really like vortexes of energy, healing energy. We all have it. And many ancient wisdom tradition tells us about this healing power of the hands. So we rub our hands to generate circulation of blood and qi. Let me just make sure that the volume is to the maximum. Okay. We rub our hands to generate circulation of blood and qi, especially here in the center of the palms. You know, like if you are making fire with some stick here, rubbing, 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 inhaling, exhaling. And we're going to bring the center of our palms to that sea of tranquility point, one palm on top of the other. And already with this kind of touch, we sense a sense of coming back home to our body, to our mind, to our spirit. It's almost like if we are nesting our heart and lungs, and also we are protecting these vulnerable spaces and energy. We are present, assisting our whole being with the touch of our hands at the area of the heart and the lungs, and main vortexes of energy. Like in classical yoga, this is the area of anahata, the heart chakra. And in traditional Chinese medicine, this is the area of the middle field of the elixir of long life and health. So here we are, just this practice, rubbing the hands, putting them on top of the sea of tranquility point, nesting our heart and lungs, and connecting with this that is burdening us so that we don't ignore it or repress it, but witness it in its fullness. And at the same time, we are inhaling and exhaling and touching our body to give it a sense of calmness so that it has the greater framework of calmness as we hold our processes, our trauma, our pain, our grief, our anger, our numbness. So we inhale slowly, gently, and deeply. Now we are going to combine the touch with the breath, inhaling slowly, gently, and deeply, like sighing, and exhaling through the mouth, through barely parted lips. A long exhale at the same time that we invite our body to relax, the shoulders to relax, the face, the heart, our whole body to relax. Okay, so we are on the one hand very lovingly nesting our heart and lungs, feeling the heart palpitating under the hands, smiling to our heart and lungs with compassion and acceptance of the whole situation in which we are. And then exhaling through the mouth, the long exhale without forcing, just letting go of the air. And together with the air, let's go of layers and layers of what's burdening you. With every inhale, we invite the healing of what we need, trust, confidence, understanding that this is a whole journey of unfolding consciousness, our personal life, and also as communities. So inhaling and then exhaling our fear, our grief, our anger, our distrust, our numbness, everything that you feel that can be there. Notice also your posture. Posture is another element that I want to very much recommend to you in these difficult times. It's possible that eventually one just is kind of bending under the burden and unconsciously having this kind of posture, which of course is also fostered by being at the computer or looking at the cell phone or whatever. So I want you to straighten your position, your posture. Bring your shoulders up and back and down a little bit. And notice already how there is like this opening of the chest. And so that finding a comfortable posture, and also during the day, different moments. I know that some of you have told me it's difficult to remember, but this is just so fundamental for your well-being and so simple. So remember your posture. Straightening the spine is going to already make you feel better because your lungs can breathe better. Your heart has more capacity for its functioning, and then descending to all the body, through the circulation, the oxygen that you need. So shoulders up a little bit, back and down. And now again, let's wrap the hands. Bring them to the sea of tranquility point, the two hands. Great love for yourself, for your life, for your situation. Sensing the heart beating under your hands, your heart beating under your hands. Smiling to your heart and lungs. And sensing that they are smiling back to you. No matter how difficult the situation is, you can always come back to this touch, to this breath, inhaling slowly, gently, and deeply, like sighing. Exhaling a long exhale, just blowing the air like if you're blowing a candle very gently, and letting go of what you need to let go. Let's do 5 of these practices side by side, okay? And you work with what's burdening you right now. It's almost like a prayer. When you inhale, you invite the possibility of the healing and visualize that as coming. And when you exhale the burden, the layers of numbness, restlessness, grief. One more time. Visualizing, inviting what's healing. Exhaling what's burdening us. Relinquishing, letting go. Sometimes we sense that, or we feel that we need to figure out the whole process. Often is many factors of it are beyond our control. So we just, what we are inviting is the healing, the visualizing of in our own body, mind, what is that we are inviting for healing, and we exhale the burden. And also as a community level, we visualize the results, the possibilities, the potential, and then put it as a prayer. And also maybe it awakens within us what is it we can do in our own situation without flagellating ourselves, whether it's in our personal lives or as a community or whatever, without judging and flagellating, because that's a waste of energy, but just really with kindness, with gentleness, with love. Again, I know that some of you who are facing really big challenges tell me that that's a difficult part, loving yourself. Uh, you are doing an epic effort with your own life, with your own challenges, and feel that you are not doing enough. You are always, are doing the best that you can, and you can just always prayer. Please help me. Help me to understand. Help me to know what to do. Help me to love myself and love others. That's a very important component, and a very important component of inner strength and resilience is to accept yourself just as you are, improve your posture, breathe, come back to yourself, to your body, to mind and spirit with kindness and love, and do it every day, and if possible, several times a day. Takes no time. I mean, it's just in between meetings, in between taking care of your children, whatever it is that you are doing, a little bit of restorative care. Okay? And it's beautiful to do it also when you just wake up and before you go to sleep. The more you do it without, again, flagellating yourself or creating an overwhelming commitment, just with kindness, but the more you do it, the nervous system learns through repetition and kindness. So that's about the repetition. The kindness is however many times you can do it. That's good. That's what it is. And do that. Okay. So that's one of the practices. And remember again, also the posture, check once in a while how you're walking, how you're sitting. There are so many other practices that I could be sharing with you, and I will through different Saturdays. But today, the ones that I have selected is the integrative breath, the prayer with mudras, which is not just about calming our body and mind, but connecting ourselves with a dimension within ourselves and around us that's much vaster than that sense of a solo self, of a limited self that's struggling with things that seem impossible to bear or to solve. So first we calm our body, we love ourselves, we send this message of calmness to our body. Two other points that are very nice to practice are the letting go points here that we have talked other times, beginning of lung one, and then your hands are more like this. The first one, the basic one, is one hand on top of the other. And then the other one is more like a butterfly, and we do a little bit of tapping here. I will not go on to that one today, although Very important for relieving grieving and strong emotions, because there are some other ones that I want to show you. But since we are talking, just to clarify, when we have the hands more separated so that we can get to that long 1.4 finger breadths down from the clavicular bone and one thumb in. If you explore, you find a point that's a bit more painful, and that's that one. The hands are more like this so that you can get there. But the first one, the hands are one on top of the other so that you get a double wham of energy here. Okay, so I want to go into the prayer with mudras, which is a series of mudras, gestures of power, of concentration of energy that align ourselves, our sense of a solo self, of individual self, with the universal self that is our most essential nature. So within classical yoga, we understand, and also in Qigong, that there is a physical body, the evident manifestation of who we are, the body. And then there is a subtle body, which is energy of the thoughts and emotions that totally affect the functioning of the organs. And then there is the causal body, Causal, and that's the the source, the primary vital spiritual source from which of who we are. So we usually think that we are a body or mind having a spiritual experience, but in the ancient wisdom traditions, and it's understood, and also we can understand that too, that we are a spirit that took a body when it was born and leaves the body when it dies, but the spirit doesn't depend on the body, doesn't die with the body, or doesn't begin with the body. If you just for a moment think, where do you come from? You come from a very long line of life, life that your mother, your parents pass on to you, and that they receive from other their parents. And so if we think just for a moment how awesome it is that this person that's here talking to you, or you are looking at me, that each one of us, we are coming from and everyone is coming from this long line of life of embodied spirit that at one point takes a manifestation through the body, and at another point leaves the body and becomes free spirit again. So how do we connect with that universal self? Well, an embodied prayer is this one with the mudras, and there are other ways, but today we are going to be practicing together, exploring this one. It's a series of mudras that accompany the Gayatri mantra, which is the oldest mantra registered in classical yoga. So it goes long time ago to the Vedas. And then the rishis, the sages, developed this series of mudras to accompany that Gayatri mantra. Om Tatsavitur Varenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat, which means let's connect with the divine qualities of the divine spirit, which are in us and within us. I mean, this is a brief translation of it. But there is also like a more modern or recent prayer poem that accompanies this, and that's very beautiful, and it's taught by Baba Haridas, the founder of Mama Donna. And it was written by one of his students, a long-time student that was with him from the very beginning. And it's just very beautiful because it captures the feeling of each one of the mudras. So we are going to do the mudras and then at the same time say the prayer. We are going to relate it also to our present situation today. So some of you know it, for some of you might be new, so I will not go into a lot of detail with it. but you can just listen to it. Try to do it with me, and then probably you can do it. It's pretty simple. Okay. So we start with the hands like this, and then they are connected at the center. Dwelling in the self, I'm a seed. So dwelling in the self, in the universal self, I, the solo self that at one point was born, I'm a seed. When I was born and every morning when I wake up, dwelling in the self, I'm a seed. Pulled towards the world, I separate from the expanding, I experience the various aspects of life. Through the five senses, I connect with the world and get more and more involved in the world. So what do I do to come back to that being in the self in an undivided state? I relinquish, sorry. Let me do I will do the prayer without explanation and then perhaps come back in the second round with explanation. So let's start again. Dwelling in the self, I'm a seed. Pulled towards the world, I separate from thee, expanding, I experience the various aspects of life. Now I withdraw my mind from the flow of the world and dedicate my life to thee so that you can flow through me, revealing the reality of birth and death, that I don't die, but I'm a spirit, and the bondage of Maya when I take myself from my problems. Maya is illusion, and the bondage of Maya. So how do I come out of Maya? I empty myself. Left hand on top, left hand represents the individual self, right hand represents the universal self. I empty myself into you, give you all my griefs, my concerns, my pain, so that I can be filled by thee. And you fill me with peace, with clarity, with kindness, to be filled by thee. And you put your own words, right? What is to be filled by a spirit for you, healing a spirit. I relinquish the world. Not the second time that we are coming back to the self by letting go of our attachments and take refuge in thee. I usually bow my head. You guide the way. So now the right hand, the universal self, on top of the left hand, and we are swimming together in the ocean of the world. You guide the way, and I follow your guidance, right? Now left hand on top. You guide the way with strength and support. So strength first, we're going to have in the right hand this gesture, in the left hand this one. So we are going to put the right hand, the pinky of the right hand on the index of the left, the index of the right hand on the thumb of the left, and then the other thumb goes down here. Okay. This is with strength. You can notice if you press a little bit your right hand against your left, but the transmission of strength, giving strength and support. So for the support, we are going to have this left hand, 4 fingers of the left hand, like this. And then of the right hand, we are going to have 3 fingers, like this is the right hand. The 3 fingers go in the envelope of the 4. And we have the index of the right hand touching the thumb of the left. And then the other one here, like the people in steeple, praying together, which is what we are doing right now. And what we do when we also want to visualize the unfolding of the potential and the healing in our communities. We pray together. This embodied prayer and other prayers that resonate with you. Okay, so giving strength and support. Support, I want now your right hand to give a little squeeze to your left hand. It's the spirit giving you, yeah, I'm here with you. Okay, strength and support. I shut out the noise of the world so that I can hear thy voice, the voice of the universal spirit within us. You protect me. This is like the maze of Hanuman, one of the representations of dispelling obstacles. You protect me, and when I feel protected, then dispel the fear. You protect me and dispel my fear. This is a no fear sign. Can I see the no fear sign? Yes, no fear. Then when there is no fear, illusion falls away. The illusion that I'm totally entangled and powerless and forever condemned to whatever. Even if there is a terminal disease, we can work with our spirit to develop more and more our spirit and our presence in the world as we are still alive. And the same with any other kind of problems. There is always this seed of growing and understanding. When we can put ourselves in this understanding that everything is part of this unfolding consciousness, then like in the Buddhist teachings, we feel the pain of the first arrow, but instead of going, why me, why now, why us, it shouldn't be, I wonder, whatever, we just go, oh, okay, yes, I'm feeling this pain and I'm holding the pain, I'm witnessing it, and then I'm working with my body and mind to let go of that being stuck or being with restlessness. Of course, the pain is there and the problem is there, but we are empowering ourselves to work with whatever is scaring us in scary times. Okay, so that's the prayer. Let's see what. Well, let's do it together one more time, and then we'll do a contemplative movement. Okay, so dwelling in the self, I'm a seed. Pull towards the world. I separate from thee, expanding. I experience the various aspects of life through my five senses. Now I withdraw my mind from the flow of the world and dedicate my life to thee, to spirit, to be a vehicle of spirit within myself, so that you can pass through me at these difficult moments and always. Every day I dedicate my life to thee, so that you can pass through me, revealing the reality of birth and death, that I'm not just my body and my problems, that I'm spirit. I can work with everything, revealing the reality of birth and death and the bondage of Maya, how I get onto these situations when I only take myself for my problems. I empty myself so that I can be filled by thee. I relinquish the world and take refuge in thee. You guide the way, and I follow your guidance. We swim together in the ocean of the world. Guide the way with strength and support. I shut out the noise of the world so that I can hear thy voice. You protect me, and dispel my fear. Illusion falls away. So again, this is something you can come back uh, every day. It's wonderful to do it before you go to sleep, and also when you just wake up, and any moment that you like during the day. But in those transition times, it helps to calm your spirit as it goes into sleep, into continuing to process whatever has happened during the day. And it also serves like an intention when you start the day. So there it is. Let's do one movement. I don't know if you can hear it, but here there is somebody working in the garden and there is a lot of noise. Does that, no? Fabulous. Okay, so we are going to do this movement that I call the circle of light, and that was taught to me by Dr. Chen, who is a healer, Chinese healer and doctor. She died now. She was pretty old when I met her, and I studied with her. And she helped me at a time when I had very scary and anguish situation and was getting sick and couldn't come out of sickness. And she helped me to heal. So this is one of the practices that she taught me. I'm going to show you first the movements here, and then I'm going to step away there and we are going to do it in silence. So the movement itself, which I call the circle of light, she didn't give any name to the practices, just taught them to me. We can do it sitting, and some of you probably have to do it sitting, and some can be standing. So what we are going to do is we are going to find a good posture of being grounded and feeling the contact of the feet with the floor, and an inner alignment of our head like a sphere perfectly balanced on top of the sphere of the chest, and both of them perfectly balanced on top of the sphere of the abdomen, and an unbroken column of energy running right through the center of our being. And then after finding that stable position of connecting with the ground, and we are going to connect also with the heavens, um, which is the understanding of who we are. We are moving fields of energy connected to the earth and to the heavens, from which we receive also nourishment. So after we establish that steady position of feeling supported by the earth, we are going to raise our arms to the sides to shoulder width and shoulder height. And then we are going to bend forward, just whatever is comfortable for you. There are no extra points for touching the floor and breaking your back or whatever. Just really comfortable. That's another concept in Qigong, is effortless effort. So you put yourself in the practice and you are kind to yourself and do within what's your comfort. In fact, it's usually advised not to try 100%, but 80%, so that there is a little bit extra ease to really relax and to feel the energy flowing through this contemplative practice. So once you are well grounded, we are going to raise the arms to the shoulders height, and then we are going to bend to wherever is comfortable for you, bending from your groins, or from the lower back forward. So, and just bringing the back forward and looking down. You are going to, with the hands, kind of receive what earth gives you. So you're going to put your hands like this, like a receptacle. And from down there, these hands are going to be coming through the very center of you, processing what life is giving you at the time. And then when you come here, the hands are like in prayer, palms looking out, back of the hands together. So first they're out, then we are forward, we are receiving with the hands like this, and then the hands go back to back. And again, through the very center. And then at one point, the hands pivot. So the palms were like this. Now they are going to pivot and form like a triangle. And then we keep the movement going with having the palms facing to the heavens. We're going to put back into the heavens what's beyond our control, beyond our even imagination of how this can be solved or can be healing. So it's just like, okay, this is beyond my whatever I can manage. So I put it back there and I trust that is part of this journey of unfolding consciousness. And then, like, I separate the clouds, I open myself to inspiration, I receive the light from the heavens, bathing my whole being, and then I again bend forward to receive what life is putting in my plate and process it through the very center of my being, also coming from my gut to my heart, all the path of the vagus nerve too. Okay. And major meridians, pathways of energy. So we are receiving, processing through the very center of our being. And at some point, when you are near the forehead, you pivot the hands and you form this vortex. And then you put the hands facing up and you put back into the universe, what's beyond your control. Open yourself to inspiration, to peace, to clarity, acceptance, compassion, inner strength, and resilience. And again, please help us. Please show us, show me, show each of us what to do with this. May we keep growing in understanding and inner strength, resilience, clarity, compassion, whatever you want to invite as healing in your life for the scary times that you are experiencing. Okay, let's do one more time sitting. Up, relinquishing what's beyond our control and opening ourselves to inspiration, to healing. Okay, in the last one, the hands and arms are going to just come down and we come like in prayer at the center of our heart and at our forehead and back to the heart. So let's do the practice here. And I find this practice really healing and opening too, in the sense that we often feel, oh, I need to know more. I need to listen more to the news. I need to stay informed because otherwise I'm not caring for what's happening. That's not right. We care deeply for what's happening, but we also realize when, the news, which in any case often, and I say this as a person who had also long training in journalism, are not covering the things clearly and completely. And in fact, well, I won't even go there. But so just seeing the news, even if they are from good sources, I mean, of course, stay with the good sources, but too much diet of the news only disempowers you. So you have to always ask yourself, with the news or with the terminal disease or with the end of the marriage or financial situation, is this anxiety that I'm experiencing changing the situation? Is it helping? Is it helping me? Is it helping others? And I say this from someone, like me, who got sick over many things because I thought, well, this is part of my caring. And until I finally realized I can care. And in fact, I can care more effectively without making myself sick. And of course, I feel things, and sometimes I even go back to that re-traumatizing and whatever, but I then realize, okay, there is a difference between just, kind of being stuck into this and not changing anything, or going for peace, for healing, and then do things that seem to be maybe less dramatic than being totally informed, but I find much more powerful, which is praying and visualizing what can happen, how people can learn to organize themselves, how we can learn to reconstruct everything that's being destroyed, how we in a cancer terminal disease can also learn to cure and heal ourselves, even if at the end is death, but arrive to the last moment in peace and in being present in our life and with others as much as possible. So it's not that you are having some kind of a spiritual bypass. In fact, you are finding ways of within yourself and within what you can do, bringing, putting in the pool of humanity change and growth and healing. Okay, let's do the movement. Thank you for listening. Go for it. So we feel the connection with the ground through the soles of our feet. We align ourselves like the three spheres align and the unbroken column of energy. We bring the arms up, bend forward. We see what life is putting in our plate. Keep back in the heavens, what's beyond our control. Bring ourselves to inspiration. And again, let's do this 7 times. I'll be silent. It's whatever is burdening you. Let's do one last one for our country. Hands together at the forehead, counting our blessings, giving thanks for the blessings in our life. So hands together at the forehead, giving thanks for the blessings in our life. For the whole package of blessings and challenges, smiling to our life. And then bringing our hands together to our heart, centering ourselves, remembering someone who's suffering at this moment, and sending our care, our love to him or her or them. Sending the peace that we have experienced, we share that with them, and it multiplies within us, and it also goes to them, because that's how we spread peace and healing. That's what ancient traditions teach us, that we experience, we work with ourselves to calm ourselves. And also even neuroscience says, first self-regulation, calm yourself. Even if you want to help, first calm yourself. And from there, let that emanate and radiate to others. And Buddhism and many other traditions, ancient traditions, classical yoga, Qigong, they all talk about how we, and tell us and show us, like we did today. First, calm yourself. And from there, know that it's not just about calming yourself, it's also because you are connected with everything, and naturally radiate that in your daily life. In as much as you can. Don't ever flagellate yourself, don't ever judge yourself. Just keep working and loving that you are in this process of unfolding consciousness. And sometimes there are ups, sometimes there are valleys or abyss, and we keep bringing ourselves to trust, to remember that we are spirit and that we are in this journey of learning and healing and teaching, sharing. Okay, so I hope you will practice, that you find this specific enough, concrete enough, inspirational enough, that you practice.